It's the time of year when a lot of people are out in their shops. We're getting the planter ready for this spring. I want to talk a little bit today about seed placement depth and also spacing. Had a farmer in here in the office the other day and we were talking about this and generally agreed if conditions are right, 2 inches is pretty ideal depth. In the 21 Fields book, Franklin Pickaway County did some work with 1 3/4 depth all the way up to 2 3/4 and really saw no significant difference in yield. If you find a reason to plant shallower, 1.5 inches or lower, just remember that surely increases the stress on the plant, and the moisture and temperature fluctuations, hot and dry, really can affect crusting and leafing out and even seed death. The seed, as we look at it itself, the radical root emerges first near the tip end of the kernel, and that usually happens within 2 or 3 days in warm soils and adequate moisture. The caulifile, commonly called the spike, then of course emerges next, and that's on the embryo or the germ side of the kernel, and that may be 1 to many days from the appearance of the radical, just depending on conditions and soil temperature. The plumal leaves then slowly come out of the caulifile and split open as the plant nears the surface. The lateral seminal roots then emerge next and initially elongate towards the den end of the kernels, and these are the so-called permanent roots in the first node of the crown of the. So the planter really does become key to this whole process. We sure want to get that seed placed at the right depth. We want to be able to add any of the products we want to it in a way that will be beneficial for the seed to grow correctly and as fast as possible. So, quick checklist on the planter: seed transmission system, check the wheels and tires, fertilizer transmission system, down pressure assemblies, parallel arm linkages on the row units, the row unit, then the sprockets, the chains, and the cables. Row cleaners, no matter which kind you have, make sure they're set correctly, and you may have to change that on field conditions. No-till coolers, same hold true there. And then finally, check out the gauge wheel assembly. Planter add-ons may actually help you get that trench closed quicker and firmer, and that's just going to help the spacing when you look at the next chart. If there's skips, if there's doubles, if there's not uniform spacing between the plants, that's just going to affect your final yield. The next chart then deals with the emergence. If you look there, those first 4 days, the seeds that come up there just basically yield 20% more than if they come up later in those days when they start. But big yields are what we want, and again, make sure your planter's ready to do the job.